Apple keyboards,
and the rise of the keypad.
Welcome to the Macdownunder Podcast for all Australian Apple computer enthusiasts and collectors.
Welcome to episode 27 of the Macdownunder Podcast. Thanks to everyone that joined us last episode. Went gangbusters with, well, at least 200 views so far, which is a bit of a record for us. So thanks for joining us and thanks for coming back again this episode. My name's Justin and I'd like to introduce my co-host Matthew. Matthew, thanks for having us down at the Mac Museum again. What have you been up to?
Yeah, hello everyone. Great to be back. Nice to be back with a live in-person podcast as well. So since we spoke last, since we were on the podcast last, Justin, we've had the opening at Mac Museum again, which went fantastic. Always great to see new faces down here and familiar faces as well, which is great. I've continued some work in the workshop as well, LC3 and an LC, which underwent a cleaning and recap process, which was great and successful. Blew SCSI into an SE30 for someone I was helping out, and we got that on the internet as well, which was fantastic. Not yet going to be able to stream the podcast on an SE30 that I'm aware of anyway, but it was pretty cool to see that online.
And all of that in 1 week. That's amazing.
Yeah, look, it was a pretty busy week. I try to make use of the evenings as we go. So I was also, JD, I was also very fortunate to receive a couple of gifts.
Oh, wow.
The first was a Claris, 3D printed Claris. So shout out to Ash, who was very generous in providing this to me.
Claris the dog cow, now that goes back.
That's it, yeah. So Claris is going to live on the front desk here at Mac Museum. So anyone that comes down will be able to say hello to Claris.
Fantastic.
And I was also, another very generous gift from Ash as well, were these little customized storage boxes for repair work, which just
great place to keep your screws.
Oh,
yeah.
I can tell you what, when Ash handed these over, I actually got a little bit excited and made the assumption he was giving it to me as a gift, so which was, arguably a little bit rude, but he said no. Yes, he said no, absolutely, it's a gift. So this will be immensely useful in the workshop to keep the screws in order. So yeah, thank you, Ash. I'm very grateful for the time and effort you put in to giving me these. So
and they look fantastic.
They do. So that's been a bit about me.
Oh, and you've got a white one as well.
I do. Yeah. Look, let's get that one in here, and I actually had a black one as well.
Oh,
so
wow.
yeah, so I'm well equipped, so I can have multiple projects on the go. So yeah, Ash, thank you very much. They're great. Yeah. So yeah, JD, that's been me over the last week.
Yeah,
what about for you?
I've been a bit quieter, I've got to say. I haven't grown quite that much, but hopefully our viewers will notice that we're doing a few more effects and things with our video today. So fingers crossed it all works. And I've been teaching myself DaVinci Resolve as a replacement for iMovie so that we can do those extra things. So that's been really my focus for the last few days. So let's see how it goes after the recording today.
Yes, look, I'll just make a special comment here, JD, to our viewers, just acknowledging that JD does the production and the directing here. In some weeks, I just rock up and have a chat. So yes.
I don't think it's quite that simple for you, but thank you.
But yes, no, thank you, JD, for your efforts.
No worries. Well, we better get on to today's topic.
Great.
Now, today we're going to talk about Apple external keyboards that were released before the development of the Apple desktop bus. And depending how well today goes, here's a hint, just down in the comments, tell us what you think. We'll come back and talk about desktop mice and various desktop keyboards. I've got mice on the brain. And other types of keyboard, USB and so forth, in future episodes if people want us to. So again, comment down in the underneath the video. And so what we're going to find is that Apple really had quite a few different ways of connecting their keyboards and quite radical designs as well in the very early days. So that's what we're going to cover today. We'll also cover off some collecting news, coming events and recent finds. So famously, the Apple Computer 1 didn't have a keyboard. you had to buy your own, or find your own, or make your own. I've made my own. It's not quite working yet for my replica. It didn't come with a whole lot of stuff. So it didn't come with a keyboard, it didn't come with a monitor, it didn't even come with a power supply. You had to build that for yourself as well. So we'll probably cover the Apple One later on when I get my replica working properly.
Yes.
However, it is worth noting that there was a dual inline socket on the Apple Computer One motherboard for the keyboard. So standard number one. Then we move on to the Apple II. It also had a standard dual inline socket, I should say, for its internal built keyboard. Completely different standard, different wiring. So two standards already, and we're only just out of the blocks.
Same connection though.
Same connector.
Same connection,
different
different
same
wiring.
ribbon cable, slightly different wiring, and there's all sorts of people with aftermarket adapters to sort that out. Now, with the Apple II, because it came with an internal keyboard, I think we'll leave that today, and we'll talk about that when we actually talk about the Apple II series, because there was a whole range of keyboard modifications and motherboard, all sorts of things, lots to talk about. I think we'll do that separately. However, the original keyboard for the Apple II didn't include a keypad. And the keyboard company were approached by Steve Jobs, and he asked them to come up with a keypad that could be an aftermarket option. So this is, in fact, an example of that keyboard company version of the keypad. So no markings on the front, notably a 00.
Like a cash register.
Yep, so when you're putting in your numbers in your spreadsheets, if they existed yet, they may not have actually, but anyway, you can put in your 00, and of course on the back it says Numeric keypad from the keyboard company. Now here's the interesting adapter. So here's your standard. So to connect the Numeric keypad to your Apple II or II Plus, what you had to do is take out the ribbon cable from your internal keyboard off the motherboard, plug this one in, so you can probably see there's a pad with the pins, the pad's protecting the pins. You plug that into your motherboard, and then you plugged your internal keyboard cable into this, and you can see there's the wire that goes out to the keypad. So a bit of a kludge, but it worked, piggyback style. And it worked so well, in fact, as people will know, the keyboard company made paddles and joysticks. I actually had one of their joysticks. I can't find it. I think I might have thrown it away when I was younger. Don't mention the war. But Apple liked all of those products so much, they bought the company. A bit like, trying to think, it was Remington. I bought the company was the famous line from the CEO, wasn't it? So yeah, Apple bought the keyboard company.
Wow.
And so later, they basically put the Apple logo on this case and changed the sticker on the back, and literally the first Apple external keyboard is this Appleified.
Which, unsurprisingly, JD, you've got some.
No, this is the only original. I've got some of the later models.
Some of the later models, sorry, yes.
But this particular one, I'm still on the lookout for a genuine Apple one. They're pretty rare.
Right, okay.
They're pretty
there we
rare.
Go.
But in the for sale section, we've got one of these.
So just the Apple sticker on the back?
Apple sticker on the back and an embossed Apple on the front.
Yep.
So that was the Apple II and the Apple II Plus. So that brings us to the Apple IIe. Now, obviously they'd learnt from experience, and so they put a breakout set of headers on the motherboard for external keyboards. But again, the Apple IIe came with a standard keyboard originally, no keypad. So naturally, they ended up making Apple, of course, had bought the keyboard company at this point. So we've got the IIe keypad, and it even says so on the back.
There we go.
And if you recall, the original Apple IIe had white text on the keycaps. So this model was designed specifically for that the only Apple IIe at the time. And you'll notice the black cable. And this time we've got a DB connector, which went onto the back of your computer. And then there was also an extension that then went and plugged into your motherboard. But no need for piggybacks, none of that sort of mess.
Right.
Much cleaner. But you notice the 00's turned into a comma.
I was going to say, yes, no more 00.
No, sadly.
Interesting.
As people will know, if you're into Apple IIs, the 2E changed its keyboard. The internal keyboard went to slightly darker keys and black lettering. So of course, Apple made an adjustment. And so here's the 2E keyboard. So on the back, it's still the 2E keyboard with the same part number. But this particular one has got the slightly darker keys and the black text on the keypads.
Yes.
And we've changed the cable. Well, in fact, this is a newer version. The very first model of this came with a black cable. I'm still looking for one of those, but they do exist. But at some point, they also changed to the almond colour to match the Apple II series and the 2Cs. So that's the Apple IIe keyboard that you could put on your black lettered keyboard.
Important to have it matching. That's
got to match.
That's very important. Yeah, I would say it's probably this is just sort of observational from what I've seen, but the styling of the lettering is starting to look a little bit more what we're modern sort of standards that we're used to. So
that's it.
So there we go. Very cool.
So if we follow the Apple history, the next thing we've got is the Apple III. Now, people will probably be familiar. I'll put up a photo. The Apple III came with a built-in keyboard again, but this time, built-in keypad. So, that's why this episode's called The Rise of the Keypad. So it went from being an optional extra to actually being part of the computer.
Part of the system.
And came with the Apple III, which of course was meant to be a business system, so it made sense.
Yes.
And I can hear people in the comments already. Of course, the later Apple IIe in platinum, which came out miles after the Apple III, did eventually incorporate an internal keypad as well.
Keypad, there we go. Yeah. So I guess just in recognition that it was now becoming a, fairly standard sort of requirement of people's computing needs.
So you'd think.
Well, yes, yes, that's right.
We're not there yet.
No.
Okay, so the next machine that Apple brought out, of course, was the Lisa. And I think we've both got a fondness for the Lisa. And it came with this massive keyboard. Again, numeric keypad.
Yep.
Fantastic.
There we go. Integrated.
So big keyboard. This one came with a different interface again. So we've already had a couple of different styles. So the Lisa came with this 1/4-inch, what looks to be an audio plug, but in fact it's a serial connector that operates at 1200 baud. It's a 5-volt TTL serial signal. I'm reading off the technical specs, but it's a 1/4-inch TRS, which is a tip ring sleeve connector. So there you go, completely different.
Another connection again.
And again, aftermarket, lots of people have made adapters so that instead of buying a Lisa keyboard, you can plug in some other form of keyboard, whatever you've got really. A Macintosh keyboard or ADB keyboard, various other things. The other interesting thing about the Lisa keyboard, I'm not going to go too much into the tech specs, but it did come with this little drawer of help cards for the Lisa operating system.
That's cool.
And the 7.7 Office system as well, which is pretty cool. So there's a few of them there. Some of the later Mac XLs didn't come with that, unfortunately. So I guess the other thing to be aware of with the Lisa keyboards, if you're collecting them, is that whilst they look as though they're working, and mine feels like it's working really well, isn't it? It feels nice and soft.
Yeah, the feel on those keys is great.
It won't be working, I can almost guarantee it, because underneath each of these keys is a foam pad with an electrical pad in it, and it needs to move in order for the key to be recognised. And by now, they're all mush.
Damn.
So whilst it feels really good, that's the spring that feels good, the foam's not working. So there are aftermarket kits you can get, and if you're really game, there are instructions online on how to make your own. And I think Danny, friend of the channel, has made his own for his Lisa. Cool. So you might be lucky the one you've got here might be one of those.
Yes, that's right.
We're at multiple standards so far, and you can see that we've gone from not having keypads built in to keypads built in. Let's move on to the big one.
Yes.
I think it's over your side.
I've got this one. So this one, people might be maybe a little bit more familiar with, just due to the significance this particular machine had to Apple, which was the introduction of the Macintosh. And this is the keyboard that was originally packaged with your Mac, which of course would have been the original 128K, but just at the time, just the Macintosh. And JD, I'm noting no numeric keypad. So yes, to your point before, where I commented that the keypad was becoming pretty necessary for whatever reason, the Macintosh omitted the number pad in the keyboard that was in the box.
I think we probably just need to reflect. Now, this is not based on any research, but we just need to reflect on Steve Jobs' view of the Macintosh, which he wanted it to be compact and an appliance that you could take with you. So they came in a bag, of course, so the keyboard needed to be small to fit in. And it was, the idea was you could put one in your kitchen and you can put one in your lounge room and take one with you. So I guess the philosophy was small is beautiful, which was certainly a thing in that era.
Yes.
And so it certainly describes all of that. I guess we've gone for another standard again. So this one's an RJ11's telephone style jack. Apparently, technically, it's a 4P4C. I don't know what that means. I think it's to do with the wiring. However, if you've got one of these, do not go out and get a telephone cable and plug it in, because you'll blow something up. Because the pins are actually reverse wired in this cable. So if you've got one of these keyboards, I know Matt knows this already, but make sure you get either a replica or a genuine Apple cable.
Yes.
Or you will be causing some damage. And again, the protocol that he used was different to all the others, and it was a customised bidirectional synchronous serial protocol.
Yep.
For those of you that know what that means. I don't, but it is different. It's absolutely different.
So let me ask JD, what happened if I bought a Macintosh and I wanted a numeric keypad?
Well, Apple to the rescue.
Yes.
I've got to find the right one. Here we go. So they did ultimately provide a numeric keypad. And so you can see on the back there's an in and an out. So basically you daisy chained the keyboards together. Bit reminiscent of actually the original Apple II keyboard with the piggyback actually. But,
yes, good point.
But you could buy this optional external keypad. And in fact, they made an international version. So you may not be able to see this on camera, but hopefully you can, that instead of words like clear, you got a symbol. And instead of words of enter, you got a symbol. And I think that's actually the big difference. But it was the international version that symbolised things. Actually, I just noticed one's got a period and one's got a comma. So these are slightly different layout as well.
Slightly different layouts, yeah.
So you could get a numeric keypad for your original Macintosh or even the Mac 5112. The original one came with the same keyboard.
That's right.
Then came the Mac Plus, apparently.
Yes. So initially, here is our integrated, our keyboard now with the integrated keypad in it, which is fantastic. So this is the keyboard that would have gone along with your Macintosh Plus. Notably in the colour is the putty colour, which matched the original Macintosh Plus, which was carryover from the 512 and the 128 at that time, but all in the one package now, JD.
Yeah, finally.
Yep.
And I guess the other thing to remember is it came out with the Plus, and again I can hear people in the comments. It was also packaged with the Mac 512KE when it was released, but the Plus came in first, it's got the title for the keyboard.
There we go. Yes, very good.
All right, so this is the beige one, or the putty one. What happened when they upgraded to platinum?
Well, of course, they had to match the keyboard to the case. That was very important, including the RJ11 cable to interface it there with the Macintosh.
So you've got to get the right coloured cable. I know you like matching cables, so
it's important, yeah. So that's the small level of detail, right? It's like going out in a suit and wearing sports socks. If it's just not right in my book. So you've got to try and get all of these things precisely accurate. But this is the beige one that matched the, sorry, not the beige, this is the platinum keyboard that then went along with the new platinum colour scheme that Apple had introduced.
And I know we'll do this in a future episode, but there's lots of controversy. I guarantee you there was a Mac 512KE in platinum.
Okay, yep.
That also used this keyboard, because I've got one. But they are pretty rare. They're an educational release and generally overseas. So it does actually go with two computers, not just the Plus. But again, it's generally called the Mac Plus keyboard because that was the large volume machine.
Yep.
And I guess the thing with these keyboards, like everything else from the era, whether it's beige or platinum, they suffer from yellowing. I was a bit lucky. I don't think this is yellowed too much, but as everyone knows, these platinum items can actually look like they're beige with all the yellowing. So what a lot of people do is some form of the retro brighting process on the case as well as the individual keys. There's all sorts of tutorials out there from all sorts of people on how to do that.
Yes.
So if you've got one of these and you want to give it a bit of a clean up, have a look online.
Yep. Very good. I think that just about rounds us out, doesn't it, JD?
I think it does for the pre-ADB keyboard. So the Apple IIgs came out. We don't talk too much about it, and that introduced another standard. But we'll talk about that in a future episode.
Yes.
So, to everyone that's watching, are you interested in Apple's early keyboards? Do you have any in your collection? We'd love to know. Which one's your favourite out of all of these that we've shown, a couple that we weren't able to show today? Are you still using it? That'd be interesting to know for your retro challenge.
Yes.
Let us know down in the comments. And big question, we sort of teased early on, what would you like us to talk about in future episodes? We love ideas, but in particular, do you want our next episode or very soon episode to be about ADB keyboards? Let us know down in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. All right, on to today's news. Now, we just talked about retro brighting, Matt, and I think you've got a news item for us.
We did. There's one that I saw, JD, which I thought was very interesting, and it comes from a Facebook user for Retro Loop, who I know is in the process of putting together a collection to put on display in Poland, I believe. So I've been in touch with them, and they put out a experiment that they were doing with some retro brighting, and I thought the depth at which they've gone to show the process, talk about the process they've undergone with the vapor method, but then also noting that it's going to be used as a bit of a test case. So the objective here is to continually to refer back to it. Now, noting in the comments that some people have already been very quick to comment, it's not going to last, it's going to revert. An extra detail here is that the plastics after retro brighting were treated with a UV protectant.
I saw that.
Yeah, so I'm curious to sort of see how this plays out.
Me too.
I'm not a chemist or a scientist here, and sometimes some of the technical details about why the plastics yellow and require retro brighting is a little bit beyond my go out of my depth there, but just as a practical experiment to show that it's been done, and with the objective of referring back in and checking in on it as the years pass, I'm very interested to see what happens.
I do like because of my background, I do like the scientific approach. I think you'd probably go a bit further, but hey, someone's doing it, which is good.
Yep.
Because everyone puts up, here's how I did it, and here's how I did it, and here's how I did it, but nothing's repeatable, and people are getting variable results.
Yes.
So I think, a series like he's done of different methods, ideally with multiple items as well. I know he's got controls in there too that he's put in, so you can compare in a couple of years or 10 years, whether it's actually come back to the control colour or whether it's still good, or perceived good, is fantastic. So I'm glad that someone's done it.
Yep. So that was, I thought of interest and worth talking about.
Fantastic. Rabbit Hole Computing, who put out the Zulu SCSI devices, have just announced, in fact, yesterday at the time of recording, that their ultra-wide version of the Zulu SCSI is now available for open source download and personal use to make your own, which is fantastic news for those that have got a more modern Mac that uses the ultra-wide SCSI.
Yeah, very cool. I think this looks really cool, and I'm looking for a reason to use it. So
I've got plenty of things that are going to need it. So,
yeah, yep.
Lots of servers that would be useful for this.
Yeah, very cool, very great.
And whilst we're talking about news, Matt, we've seen lots of videos from you just recently, which look great, by the way.
Thank you.
About the recap kits. I can't wait to actually start recapping my machines. I still need to find the space. But these kits look fantastic and will make it so much easier. Can you tell us about them?
Yeah, thanks, JD. Look, yeah, I put a video out which ran through what the recap kits are for. I'm on a little bit of a crusade at the moment, just to get the news out there. There's a couple of new kits which I've put together, which are so far the largest kit that's been assembled, which is for the analog boards on the Classic and Classic 2. There's 2 variants of those, and another one which is expected to be quite popular, and that's for the SE30. So if you haven't seen it, you can find the links off the Mac Museum YouTube channel or Facebook page to the video I put together. But just wanted to mention that there are an expanding number of kits available to buy here, either in-store at Mac Museum or via the web store. And so some of the comments I've received have been fantastic, really positive, just stating they're all put together, makes it so much easier than scrolling through the various sites.
I wasn't looking forward to that.
No, to buy the parts. The little instruction guides which are inside each kit as well make it easy, particularly on the larger kits. So everything's packaged up nicely. But look, important if you, like you mentioned, JD, it's something that generally needs to be done to keep the Macs in good order and ensure that they're not subject to any sort of continued damage that could occur. Just a little plug, and thank you for letting me chat about this,
right.
JD.
As I've said multiple times, I think in person and on the podcast, I daren't turn anything on until I've recapped it, because they've all been sitting there for so long.
Yep.
I think, and I won't, Matt doesn't need to say this, I will, that I think it's important also that the proceeds from the sales fund the museum that we're in here. So, really happy to support the recap kits, and I'm going to be buying plenty of them in the near future.
Thank you, JD. Yes, no, well said.
Okay, so coming events, WasFest 43. Still no update on their website to dates when I checked, but check the link down in the description and watch that to see any other news that comes up. Next up, the technology markets. Again, their website hasn't been updated, or rather their Facebook page hasn't been updated with any new dates yet, so we're still waiting for those. The Adelaide Retro Computing Group have confirmed, in fact, we just speculated last week, but they've confirmed that their next meeting is on Friday the 13th of February from 5:30 till 10:30 at the Untitled Community Centre. So if you're local, get along to that. The Retro Gaming Bendigo Group, again, have posted their December meeting got cancelled. No new dates for 2026, but again, links down in the description. Watch their page, and I'm sure they'll be back up and running really soon. And Matt, do you want to tell us about another big event that's coming up in March?
Yes, well, the Train and Hobby Expo, which will be hosted at Sandown, is a large event, and the Australian Computing Collectors Group have been invited along to display some vintage computers, not just Apple stuff, but vintage computers. So it's a great opportunity to get down and check out what will be on display there from some enthusiasts, which are part of the Australian Collecting Group there. Mac Museum will be on display in some form, and Justin, you said
I'll make an appearance.
An appearance in some form. So it's early days. JD and I are still working out what happens on the Apple side of things, but we'll be there, and looking forward to sharing some of the Apple stuff.
Fantastic. And as we know, us computer collectors are a bit of an odd bunch from time to time. But the special thing about this is there's model trains, there's remote control cars and planes, and a whole range of other things for the rest of the family and partners and others to enjoy as well, whilst we get to enjoy our retro computing.
Yes. So importantly, that's March 14th and 15th at Sandown. Yes. Thank you, JD. Yes, at Sandown. More details to come. We'll post more as things firm up as well. I can wrap up our last one there, JD.
Yep.
Mac Museum open again here on Saturday. I think it is really important just to acknowledge here in Melbourne, it's going to be a 37-degree day. So I will certainly be here. I think, JD, you've said you'll be down. Mm-hmm. Yep, but dress light. It's going to be warm. So love to see you down here. And then finally, we'll be open again on the 31st as well. So
dress light, bring water in your car so you can go and rehydrate, not around the electronics though, and make sure you look after yourselves. But yes, it's going to be a warm one, and you'll have fans on and things. So
yes, make it as comfortable as we can. But
can't do misting stations around technology.
No, that's right,
no.
Exactly. So yes, but Mac Museum this Saturday, and then yes, the following Saturday on the 31st as well.
Looking forward to it. Right, time for our for sale section. Now, I looked for anything related to early Apple external keyboards, and there's not many around in Australia, well, at least separately. So in some cases, I've listed an entire system, and that'll make sense in a moment, that includes a keyboard. And I've also included some US listings, and there's a couple of really pricey ones just because these things are getting so rare. So first up, if you're just in we need an accessory for our keyboard, we haven't got a lot of money to spend, this might be up your alley. So the keyboard cable for your original Macintosh keyboard, right up to the Mac Plus keyboards, you can get from South Australia for $19.95 on eBay. Pretty cheap, I think. There's others out there as well.
Yep, absolutely.
Next up from Melbourne is the only Macintosh keyboard that I could find online for sale. So I looked through Marketplace, I looked through Gumtree, and I scoured eBay. And so as far as I can tell, this is the only original Mac keyboard. In fact, it's not even the original one, it's the Mac Plus one that's for sale. So it's $70 in Melbourne, but it's missing a key, clearly from the photo, and it's not confirmed to be working. So if you really want one, this is the way to go, I suppose. But just be aware, missing a key, not guaranteed to be working. But if you're looking for parts for one you've already got, then this might be an option. Now, I've told a few people about this down at the museum, and I was actually, well, I might still buy it.
Yep.
I'm not sure. But this one we've had on the episode today. Well, not this particular one, but one of these we had on the episode today. So the original 1977, the keyboard company manufactured Numeric keypad for the Apple II. Now, this one's in box and looks fantastic. Now, it's not in your traditional sales spot. It's in the Salvos store.
I was going to say, this is a new merchant entry into the list.
I search for stuff all over the place, and
shows you this stuff turns up.
And this one popped up. So it's $179 from Western Australia. So and shipping looks pretty cheap actually on their website. So it's not a cheap keyboard, but it's a pretty rare keyboard. I paid about the same amount to get mine out from the US. So it's a pretty good deal, and supporting the Salvos is always a good thing too.
Absolutely, yes. So you're giving our viewers a bit of a heads up before it might disappear.
I've been watching it for almost 2 weeks now.
There we go.
But because I've got one, if somebody else needs one, then rush and get it now.
Go get it, yep.
Okay, so because I couldn't find any complete working original keyboards, I thought we should include this listing. There's a few Mac Pluses with keyboards listed, but this one's fairly cheap. So $270 at auction. Now, of course, it might go up, but $270 at auction in Victoria is this 1988 Mac Plus, platinum colour with keyboard. So there's the hook. It's got the keyboard with it. And so whilst the price is fairly expensive, it does come with a computer and a few other things too. So there you go.
There we go. Looks like you might need to budget for a mouse if you were to buy this one. It doesn't look like there's a mouse in the picture, but you get the Rodime hard drive. So
yeah. I had a Rodime 20 when they were new. They were brilliant.
I see quite a few of them around. It almost feels like they were almost standard issue for anyone
in
buying.
Australia. I think they were.
Yes, so, but yeah, very cool to see. And in my experience as well, still going. So I don't think I've had one fail on me. So
yeah, I'll have to check mine out.
Yeah, well, there's a good chance they could work. So yep,
very good. Okay, so now we move to the US to find some of the rarer things, and so here we have. One of the examples of the Apple Numeric keypad for the Mac that we showed earlier. So this is the American US version with the words rather than the icons. And this one is currently at $98.99 American, which translates to about $149 Australian. And you'll still need another $42 for shipping. But if you're after one of these, they're pretty rare. So unless you can find, the unicorn elsewhere, this is potentially an option for you.
That's it. Just a little noteworthy tidbit on this one as well, JD.
Comes with the cable?
It comes with the cable, yeah. The seller is the Byte Shop. For anyone that knows their Apple history, the Byte Shop was the name of the store that first purchased a lot of 50 computers off Steve and Steve, the Apple One. Not the same Byte Shop though, so I took a moment to check, but I just thought it was, just coincidental. The name.
Next up, we've got an Apple IIe numeric keypad, and again, whilst I found the one in the Salvo store for the 2 and the 2 Plus, this is for the IIe, so they are pretty rare. This is the latter one with the black text on the keycaps. So again, this one's from the US. It's at $165 American. That translates to $246.90 Australian, so it's not a cheap keyboard. And an additional $81, maybe $82 Australian for shipping. So not a cheap keyboard. You can get them cheaper. This just happens to be the cheapest one available at the moment that I've found. I did get mine for significantly less than that, so if you keep your eyes peeled, you might find a better deal. But if you want one today, it's there. Yeah,
great condition as well. So it looks beautiful with the packaging.
Oh, that's right, and it's complete with packaging.
Yeah. So.
And something that I hadn't seen before, it's got the template to go over the numbers for other commands, and I've never seen that before.
Yes, that's what it is. Yep. Very interesting.
Okay, last up, not cheap, but if you've got a Lisa, and you need a keyboard because it's missing. From the US, here you can get a vintage Apple Lisa keyboard, extremely rare, Grail Apple computer untested. So not tested, I can almost guarantee you like mine, when you start typing it won't do anything because it'll need the pads replaced. However, for the mere sum of, wait for it, $1,499.99 US, that comes to $2,234 roughly Australian, plus another $109, $110 for shipping, you too can have a Lisa keyboard.
Wow.
I think it's actually cheaper to buy a whole Lisa, because that's almost half the price of a complete Lisa system.
That's, if you, as you said, if you've got one and you need the keyboard, well, maybe you don't need another one, but if you're looking for the whole package, don't start with the keyboard and work your way up. So
definitely don't start there.
No.
And we talked about mice some time ago, but same deal there.
Yeah.
But yes, if you've got a Lisa and you need a keyboard, well, you can get them. They are available, but deep pockets required.
That's it.
Well, that's the end of today's episode on the Apple extended keyboards that came out in the first era, we'll call it, pre the ADB. It's great to be down here at the Mac Museum to be able to show these and discuss them. Matt, any final thoughts on the keyboards?
Look, what stands out is the variety of interfaces that we've got in these early days. And, we tease that looking at ADB, keyboards could be the next, but if we have a look forward, we've got ADB and then USB. Back then you certainly had to make sure you got the right interface, and I guess Apple was still sort of finding their feet with them as well. They
absolutely were from what we've shown. Now, just a little teaser, if we do the ADB keyboards, I suspect we will, but you let us know down in the comments if you want it soon, because we can do it next week if we want to. We're ready for it. Just a little teaser, you might think ADB means standard and that there's not many variations in the keyboards. The interface was standard, but oh my goodness, there are so many variations of keyboard. Not so many in what we've seen today. They were pretty much all manufactured in the US and generally all to the same design. But when you get to the ADBs, there are multitudes. They look the same on the outside, but when you look closely, there's huge variations for a collector like me and you and everyone watching, no doubt.
Yes.
Anyway, so we appreciate all the comments and your views. Thank you. Keep the comments coming in. We love them. We love to reply to them. And as I said, if you've got any suggestions about future episodes, let us know. In particular, should we do the ADB keyboard episode next, or should we move on and do something different? Let us know. We'd love to hear from you. So we'll be back again next week. So make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss out. And don't forget, this Saturday down here at the Mac Museum, 10 until 2, make sure you wear light clothes, bring plenty of water and fans and all those things to keep yourself cool. But there's plenty to do down here and plenty of people to meet down at the museum. I look forward to seeing everybody there, look forward to seeing you there too, Matt.
Absolutely. Thanks, JD. Look forward to it.
Until then, take care.
See you later.
Thank you for joining the Macdownunder Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you again soon.